though.
I say to this day, and I do it based on my reaction. Obviously, this is personal. I say it's the greatest knockout of all time. First time I ever stood up, I couldn't sit down. I was standing up. I was just like, oh!
I saw that. I saw you stand up. That's the first time I see.
It was just, what?
I expected him to the last 6 rounds with AJ. In my opinion, he won 4 of them. People will argue that. He at least won 3.
I'm a little up, but will you take care of me forever and ever?
When Anthony Joshua detonated that crushing 6th-round knockout, the entire arena froze in disbelief. Joe Rogan's live reaction captured the shock perfectly, as if everyone had just witnessed history being rewritten in real time. He had warned about Joshua's one-punch power, but seeing it land was something else entirely. This wasn't just a fight ending. It felt like a brutal reality check for modern boxing. If you want to understand why this moment shook the sport, hit subscribe and stay with us.
Come full steam ahead 100 miles an hour, or Jake would have moved around the ring at 100 miles an hour. There's 2 things I would have done. Tried to shut Jake down at 100 miles an hour, or I would have gone on the back foot. So Jake decided to move around the ring, and I decided.
Billed as Judgment Day, the fight was scheduled for 8 rounds, but the danger was clear from the opening bell. Joshua entered with a massive size and experience advantage, towering over Jake Paul in both frame and power. After cautious early rounds, the momentum shifted violently in the 5th, when Paul was dropped multiple times. Then at 1:31 of round 6, a devastating right hand ended everything. Keep watching, because what happened after the knockout changed the entire narrative.
Great champ, Anthony Joshua. Paul was sturdy for the first couple of rounds, but as the fight went on, the more experienced Joshua began to take control. After continuously connecting in the 5th round, it was only a matter of time before it was over. In the 6th, Joshua went on to knock out Paul with a big right hand. Joshua improved his career record to 29-4 now. Paul loses for the 2nd time in his career to
Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul was never just about boxing. It was about 2 worlds colliding. Traditional heavyweight dominance met the influencer-driven era under the brightest lights possible. Millions tuned in, not knowing whether they would witness an upset or a lesson. With every passing round, the tension grew heavier and the stakes became undeniable. Stay locked in, because this fight exposed more than just skill differences.
Performance by Jake, brother.
Come on, bro. He's a fucking legend for that. He has such big balls getting in the ring with that guy, dude. Josh was a monster. He stayed in it the whole time, and I'm really proud of Jake, dude. All my respect to him, bro. Whatever outcome. I mean, dude, he went 6.5 rounds with Anthony Joshua, one of the best in the world, so I got nothing but respect.
And got up like 2 times?
No, it was sick.
Talk about that. I mean, there's been other heavyweights that have felt that right hand who haven't got up.
Nagano, so many people, bro. The overhand right. Jake's got a tough chin, dude. I think he does whatever he wants after this. He just has such big balls, dude. He had to keep moving. That was the only strategy. People are gonna say he ran around the ring. They don't know. They don't understand fucking boxing.
He showed a ton of heart, right? What's next for Jake Paul? Where does he go?
Whatever he wants.
Joshua stepped into the ring as a former 2-time unified heavyweight champion and an overwhelming favorite. Jake Paul arrived with confidence built on social media success and controversial wins, drawing massive attention to the sport. But beneath the hype, doubts followed him into the ring. Very few believed he could survive true heavyweight power. And if you think this was just hype versus reality, make sure you watch what comes next.
Some people believe in fairy tales. Whoever believed that Jake Paul was going to win, that was an absolute fairy tale. I've got a friend in a group message that said, I just put $20 on Jake Paul to win. I was like, bro, you just wasted your money. There was never a world in which Jake Paul was going to beat Anthony Joshua. It was always a matter of how the fight would end. So I watched all the pundits talking about the fight. Even Rosendo, my boxing coach, I was like, does Anthony Joshua represent boxing? Everybody from that world felt like Anthony Joshua was representing boxing. And as the fight started to go on, first off, he was representing boxing, so they wanted him to get the job done. All right, first and foremost. You can't lose to a guy that's perceived to be a YouTuber, even though today, Jake Paul is more boxer than YouTuber. I've said this time and time again. When you have resources, when you can spend $1 million a year on training camps, housing, food, coaches. This is not recreational anymore. He's a boxer. He's just not a boxer at that level. I ran into his brother in New York City, and I said to Logan, what parameters are in place, Logan? What safeguards do they have to make sure that Anthony Joshua doesn't hurt your brother? He said there are none. He goes, they're going to just straight fight. So in that regard, you got to give credit.
After the fight, Joshua didn't sound satisfied despite the knockout victory. He admitted the performance wasn't his best and that he struggled early to land clean shots. Joshua openly said he expected more from himself and felt he could have finished the fight sooner. Calling it a win, but not a success, he revealed the pressure elite fighters live with. Subscribe now because his honesty raised serious questions about what's next.
I could have done better is a lot of things, 100%. In the fight game, you've seen the amazing fighters that have graced us over the last 100 years, and the expectations that we put on ourselves are immense, but I tried my best. Jake done well while it lasted, but if you remember what I said in the interview with Cameron is, fighting's not just physical, it's psychological. And when you understand the psychological warfare, I did say to you is that, Jake, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna see a time when I'm gonna take your soul and you're either gonna give up or...
Even after delivering a brutal knockout, Joshua showed respect toward Jake Paul. He praised Paul's heart, noting how he kept getting back up after being dropped repeatedly. Joshua acknowledged that not many fighters would dare face someone with his experience and power. That resilience, he said, deserved recognition. But respect doesn't erase consequences, so stay with us for what followed.
AJ's won 6 rounds, he kind of dismantled him, he took his time. How do you see it?
Yeah, it was a frustrating 2-3 rounds maybe, because Jake was moving so much, holding, but did well, I thought. I mean, I was impressed with him. I mean, I was more impressed with his toughness, because I think that last shot would have knocked out most heavyweights. I mean, I know
he broke his jaw.
Yeah, I know, it knocked him out, but he was not unconscious. You know, I mean, look, he may not come back from it. If he has broken his jaw, it's a big injury to come back from.
Well, there's pictures of him in hospital right now.
Well, listen, you've got to respect him, because he did what many people wouldn't do, which was get in the ring with him. And, you know, he didn't, I know he run and hold, but he also let his hands go at times. And he was in the firing line, and, you know, we got 6 good rounds in the end of actual work.
Is that how you see it in the end?
Yeah, I actually think it's a positive, because, you know, we could have gone in there and got it all over with 45 seconds. He's done an 8-week camp, and now he's done 6 rounds. He's got something to go back on work.
Moments after the fight ended, the damage became painfully clear. Bloodied and shaken, Jake Paul admitted in the post-fight interview that he believed his jaw was broken. Medical staff later confirmed it was fractured during the 6th-round knockout. The mood instantly shifted from celebration to concern, and once the medical truth came out, everything changed. So don't click away.
Logan, what's up, man? What's your reaction to it?
I'm just so proud of him. My mom has it.
Your brother fought his ass off, man. I mean, other heavyweights have taken that right hand and only took 1.
I'm just so proud of him. That was incredible. In my view, that was a victory on all fronts.
Right.
Like, minus the actual victory, of course, but bro, like, no one expected him to last 6 rounds with AJ. In my opinion, he won 4 of them. People will argue that. He at least won 3. No one expected him to last that long. Rolled his ankle, broke his jaw, still fucking fighting, man. Like, that's toughness. You know, most people wouldn't have the balls ever to step in a boxing ring in their life. He stepped in a boxing ring with one of the baddest men on the planet, who's 40 pounds heavier than him and 6 inches taller. That's insane. He's one of the most skilled fighters on the planet. My brother, as a fucking YouTuber, went 6 rounds with him in a fight with a broken jaw and rolled ankle. I'm so proud of him. That was just unbelievable.
I saw you talking crap to AJ at one point.
I was trying to get his head. I think I pissed him off. I was just saying fuck that shit. I love AJ.
Yeah.
But bro,
I saw you going
I was talking so much. But I just pissed him off. Then he broke my brother's jaw.
True to his personality, Jake Paul responded with defiance rather than silence. He posted an X-ray revealing a double broken jaw and boldly challenged Canelo within days. Doctors confirmed fractures in 2 places, with weeks of recovery ahead. Shockingly, Paul even drove himself to the hospital after the fight. If you think that post was just bravado, stay tuned for the deeper reality.
Nikisa, just down here, Jeffrey from The Sun. Just to follow up on Jake, he said he broke his jaw in the aftermath. Has he gone to hospital? What's the health update on Jake?
Yeah, we think he broke his jaw. He's fine. We met with Netflix afterwards. He took a shower. He drove himself to the hospital. A broken jaw is very common in sports, particularly in boxing or MMA. And I think the recovery time from the doctors and surgeons we've already talked to is...
Nikisa Badarian defended Jake Paul's performance, praising his durability and discipline against a feared heavyweight puncher. He argued that Paul held his own early and may have won rounds before the tide turned. However, he pointed to one undeniable factor: size and strength. Joshua's physical dominance slowly drained Paul and set up the knockout. Watch till the end, because this explanation sparked intense debate across boxing.
That's what happened. And ultimately, Jake Paul lasted a lot longer than anyone said he was going to. And I haven't seen the official scorecards. I don't know if anyone else has. But I think he might have won a round or 2 or even 3. He was doing tremendously well in there against a person who is vastly more skilled, vastly larger, vastly more powerful. And he did it on 4 weeks preparation.
What would you like to see next for Jake?
I'd like him to take a beat, relax, and then think about when he's going to fight next. You know, we talked about June, July timeframe. He loves this sport. He loves MVP. He loves the athletes. He loves giving them platform and push. This young lady right here, the whole time when I was talking to her, I said, "What do you think?" She goes, "Jake's going to win. I believe in him. He can do whatever he wants to do." That's the kind of family that we're building at MVP. It's a fighter-first organization. You guys saw our weigh-in yesterday. That stuff costs a lot of money. But we want to put on the best brand for these fighters to show the world what boxing.
Fighters and promoters quickly weighed in on the outcome. Many respected Jake Paul for lasting 6 rounds against a former heavyweight champion despite the massive gap. Eddie Hearn offered a colder take, saying the result was never truly in doubt. Surviving wasn't about skill, he implied. It was about toughness. If you want the real takeaway from this fight, like the video and stay tuned.